Hey there guys, it's Jesse, and one of the biggest things I wanted to know about at BlizzCon was the real money auction house in Diablo 3. Unfortunately, not many of the panels got to it, but luckily for us, there was a press-only event featuring Robert Bridenbecker, Vice President of Online Technologies. And for a whole hour, we got to hound him with all sorts of great questions that, unfortunately for most really avid D3 fans, you probably already know from Google searching or going to DiabloFans.com. But we did manage to get off some really good questions at the end about the real money auction house and got some really excellent answers. So, with minimal editing and an apology for the background noise, I mean, it was a room filled with press guys writing and typing and all that stuff. Here's the best of the press interview on the real money auction house.
When you have to choose if it goes to Blizzard or to Battle.net account, or if you will you have to, from which source will you have to pay the listing fee?
It's a good question. So actually, so as a seller, right, if you have no funds like on your account and maybe you've got a credit card or what have you, the worst that would happen is we would just, and this is only if the item doesn't sell, we would charge you that nominal listing fee. Like I said, we're talking $7. We talked about allowing individuals to go into arrears, if you will. So like, let's say you list an item and that item doesn't sell. Maybe we'd allow you to go in the negative up to $1 or $2. We haven't finalized it. But for you, what's particularly cool is we are talking about a number of free listings, like on a per week basis. So worst case is you list an item and if you get one of the free listings, then you wait until next week and it'll come up. So there's a couple of different things. And then if the item sells, the combination of that listing fee and then that final value fee, again, that'll just come out in the proceeds of that. And again, our goal here is to keep those fees small. Our goal, we really want to make sure that you guys have as little barriers as possible to want to sell the items, because really we want to keep the players from having an incentive to go off to the third-party trading sites and what have you. We want to keep you guys within a safe and secure environment.
So you did contemplate flat rate?
Flat rate for both listing and the sale.
For all of the
North America and Europe, like basically the West, if you will. But in the Asian markets, still trying to figure out, because the business models are a little different in those areas. Sure.
I know I showed up a little late, but did I miss the part where you were going to talk about the first Diablo millionaire?
What's that?
The first Diablo millionaire.
The first Diablo millionaire.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that somebody's going to find a way to make $1 million off the auction house. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, we don't really think about this as being a way for an individual to make a ton of money. What we're thinking about is, again, players are going to go in, they're going to find a really killer item, and they're going to say, wow, man, this is a really great item, but it's totally of no use to me. So they're going to list that item, they're going to sell it, and what they're going to do is they're going to take the proceeds from that, and they're going to buy something else. So that's the vast majority of the player base. Now, if there happens to be individuals that go out and this is where they want to spend their time to try and somehow make a living out of it or what have you, I mean, that may happen, but that is absolutely not what we were planning on having happen.
Do you have like an idea in mind of what items might be worth?
I have no clue what items are going to be worth what. In fact, we were talking a little bit about this before, but one of the reasons why we want to just sort of set the playing field up front and say the transaction fee and the listing fee are fixed is so that individuals aren't fooling themselves or thinking, hey, Blizzard's somehow manipulating the items so that they'll increase the worth of it when it goes on the auction house. The reality is, if it's sold for $1,000 or $1, Blizzard's cut is the same. So, awesome. I mean, if the market says that the new Stone of Jordan, right, is worth $500, that's what the market dictates. We
Right.
have no control of that. We want to have as little to do as possible in terms of anything having to do with the economy that is created around Diablo.
Well, I'm going to be the first Diablo millionaire.
What if there is, let's say there's a player who, I don't know, corners the market on SOJs or something along that line? Will there ever be a time where Blizzard would come in and try to fix the situation? If he keeps jacking up the price higher and higher and higher, would there ever be a time when you guys would come in and say like, whoa, hold up?
Or just start making them drop off everything.
So just based on the random nature of Diablo, I have to imagine that it's going to be difficult for an individual to corner the market, so to speak, on a particular item.
Or group of individuals.
Well, you could just go in and buy them all and put them up for $5 more each.
Kind of like WoW, with people who corner certain items in that game.
Well, but you can't use WoW as the example because again, WoW, the drops are deterministic. I know what mob to go to, kill that mob, and I know I'm always going to get this thing. Diablo, totally different. I kill the same mob over and over and over again. It's always going to be different what drops from them. So I can't just go back to the same thing and do some kind of run against a specific monster.
Right.
And even if I did, doesn't mean that I get the same stuff.
But you can buy it off the auction house, right, and then resell
So
it.
now you're talking about like speculating and what have you?
Yeah, like if somebody just said, "Oh, look,
millionaire.
those items are valuable. They're selling for $5 each." They buy them all, and every time somebody lists one under their price, they buy it, jack it up 10, 20%, and then they've got the whole market for that item.
But again, you're still operating with the premise that those items, that drop is no longer ever going to be available. So there's still going to be a supply that's available, and the number of people that are supplying those items is going to be much greater than you, right? Because you're competing against 2 million plus, or however many people actually are constantly participating in the game. You're one person. So I mean, if you've got a plan that allows you to go around and somehow get all 2 million people, or 5 million people, or 10 million people, or however many people are playing the game in your particular region, and saying, hey, sell to me and only to me and nobody else at this rate, and then you're going to jack it up and turn around. Well, that's predicated on number one, that item being worth that to other players, right? And number two, that you're guaranteed to win. And that's the cool thing about the auction house as well, is the fact that just because somebody lists it doesn't mean you get to buy it. Somebody else can outbid you.
You think somebody's gonna pay 27 grand for an item though?
Well, I mean, if you played all the microtransaction games, people spend hundreds of dollars a month on them. I guess if you were that into it, you might say, hey,
I guess.
I don't need income for a year when I can have that staff.
Yeah, I mean, what I don't want to do is I don't want to set the tone or have anybody like of the mind that somehow that would be the norm. If anything like that were to ever happen, we're talking the exception. Our general belief is that items themselves are going to go for your sub $10 type range. That would be our guess. But again, we have no real basis for that because what we're doing is very different. We are different than microtransaction games. Microtransaction games are, hey, I'm selling to you as the game player. And that's exactly the business Blizzard doesn't want to be in. We are not selling directly to you. We are basically saying, you know what? The guy in the orange shirt and the guy in the black shirt, I didn't get you guys' names, but if you guys want to sell to one another and he wants to sell it for $50 and he wants to buy it for $50, phenomenal. Blizzard's going to take a small fixed fee, same fee that it would be if he sold it for $100 or $2, and off you guys go.
As someone whose Battle.net account has been hacked and has had to go through that headache of dealing with that, can you talk about any added security in conjunction with the auction house?
Yeah, sure. So we've continued to put a lot of time and energy not in just our warden hack detection systems, but also in the systems that are like trying to validate who you are and if in fact you are who you say you are. And some of the systems on the back end that you've seen throughout WoW, we're continuing to enhance that so we can detect normal usage patterns for you. So if you happen to demonstrate aberrant behavior, we can trigger a red flag and prompt you for some additional information. Now, what would that additional information be? Well, it could be your authenticator. It could be an email that you sent to your registered email address. We're actually right now in the process of doing the final touches on like SMS delivery. So you'd be able to register your mobile phone. So if there's aberrant behavior, we can send you a text with a code on it. You can take that code, you can type that in, you can put the transaction authorized. So those are the types of things that we are instituting because we recognize security as one of the big things, not just specifically because of the auction house, but just in general. I mean, it's a headache, as you said, and nobody wants to go through that, and we don't want people to go through that. And it just sucks that it's there. In fact, that's one of the reasons why having the auction house to begin with helps deter account theft because, I fundamentally believe one of the reasons why World of Warcraft account theft occurs is because there's a large percentage of players that will go out and will buy gold from third-party sites and what have you. So that's something that just, I get it, I understand why people want to do it, but at the same time, there's a risk associated with it, and what we're trying to do is eliminate what those risks are.
How does it work if you actually have
two copies of Diablo 3, one in Europe and one in the US. And you do sell some items in others in euros, like others in Euro. And
So-
you actually get the money on Euro on that.
Sure. So actually, one of the things, just for clarity's sake, with Diablo 3, we're actually modifying the way that it works. If you buy Diablo 3, you're just buying Diablo 3. You can play it anywhere in the world. Okay. So you guys get to choose. Now, what we will do is we will lock you down to a specific auction house. So, for example, if you're a European national, you would have access to the European auction house. But you'll still be able to play in North America. You can participate in the gold auction house anywhere in the world, right? But you can only participate in the real money auction house in your native country. If you're a U.S. citizen or a North American player, I should say, then you'll be able to participate in the North America auction house, play anywhere, and participate in the gold auction house anywhere. But the RMT auction house only.
Are
Makes
we-
sense?
Are we, sorry,
Yeah, it's like,
are we gonna be required to download a client for each, region, like StarCraft 2 is EN, US is English, United States, and so it's just gonna be Diablo 3 period, that's it?
So the way that it'll work is actually, and again, I'm going to predicate some of this is specific to the West. If you will. We can come up with that name. I don't have that name. But the West, North American Europe. The download of the actual client will have no basis on where you can connect. All it's going to dictate is what the language pack, right? There won't be language packs initially with Diablo 3. There may eventually be language packs. We're not planning on having them at launch. So if you want to download a German client, you want to play in Europe, you can do that. If you want to download a German client, play in North America, you can do that.
So the functionality is closer to what Diablo 2 had, where you can just choose a server rather than StarCraft 2?
You got it.
Nice.
And what about I want to have two copies of Diablo 3? Will it be possible?
We haven't talked about like there are being a ton of people that are going to buy multiple copies of the same. For now, what we say is if you want to buy a second copy, you would have a second Battle.net account because most people, we don't want to encourage multi-boxing. We'll see if there's a ton of reason for you to want to do that. But if that develops and there's a large outcry for it, then we'd absolutely take a look at it.
So that would fix the problem with the main currency development account. If you do have anyone.
Correct. So what will end up happening is actually your country of registration will dictate a number of different things. It's going to dictate sort of where you default connect to, as well as what your default currency is. So if you say you're from Britain, then you're going to get GBP as your default currency. You're connecting to Europe. You'll be able to play anywhere in the world, but you'll participate in the real money auction house in Europe in GBP. Now, that said, that's all defaults. Right? Like I said, and we said this earlier on, for a given region, there may be multiple currencies in that region. You'll be able to participate in any of those currencies, right? But where we don't expect the vast majority of players actually participating outside of their native currency, or why we don't expect it, is because anytime you're going from, let's say, well, let's use the GBP Euro example. I've got a GBP credit card, and I want to buy in. Well, if I buy in to a product that is also priced in GBP, I pay GBP and I'm done. I get that. I've done no currency conversion or anything. But if I want to buy into something that's listed in euros, well, in my head I've got to do that math and figure out what's GBP to euro ratio. And on top of that, I'm also paying that foreign transaction fee, which God knows what that is based on the particular payment method they're using.
Although, I don't know the current transaction conversion rates. Let's say that the Portuguese, what was it, the PL you said, BL?
The
Brazilian?
the
Yeah,
Brazilian.
oh, right, my bad, yeah, that, what if that's, $1 for, let's say $1 is worth a few times as much as that, why wouldn't I use the Brazilian auction house instead? I'm getting twice the amount.
And you may be able, or you'll be able to utilize any of those currencies. So for example, let's say you're a North American player, right, and you're based in the United States, your default's going to be USD. You'll be able to buy in using your USD credit card. But if you want to, and if for whatever reason that swings in your favor or what have you, you could list the item on the Brazilian dollar auction house. The item sells, phenomenal, but you're going to get the proceeds in Brazilian dollars. And then if you elect to have that money go on your Battle.net account, well, that money is going to only be usable for other products price in Brazilian dollars.
Okay.
If you want to have that money go out to PayPal, that money is going to go out to PayPal in Brazilian dollars. So at some point, you will get hit with that currency conversion fee.
Yeah, but I mean, my point was if the kind of currency conversion fee works in my, or the currency conversion works in my favor.
And
You know.
and if it does, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's good. You know, as an individual who, if you want to go and you want to try and somehow play speculative markets or what have you on currencies and what, phenomenal. There's people in, you know, on Wall Street and what have you that do that all the time. And there's a risk associated with it.
Yeah.
Because the next thing you know, you could have a bunch of money, right, in your PayPal account in Brazilian dollars. And then maybe the Brazilian dollar shifts the other direction. You go, oh no, what do I do?
Right, yeah.
So,
But you would be able to do that only with currencies under the same option.
Yeah, the same
It's
reason.
because you're always linked to one specific region. You
Region.
can't change that.
right, so our primary regions being North America, Europe, Southeast Asia, Northern Asia, which is Korea, Taiwan, and then mainland China.
And there's no chance to, for ABC module, I feel that the H&H house is more, had more broad, anything. Can I move there?
So we haven't, like, the only way that we talk about it in individual, like moving their auction house is if that individual moves to that country, right? And you would actually show, hey, here's proof that I live in that country.
I can change my profile from US to China.
You won't be able to.
Right.
Yeah, you won't be able to with Diablo 3. In fact, we are moving towards, you know, I don't want to say restricting because that has a negative connotation, but more appropriately what we're saying is, if you say you're from the U.S., we're going to treat you like you're a U.S. player, and we're going to have you, wherever you connect in the world, you know, enforcing you as a U.S. player. You say you're from Korea, the same thing would apply. But the nice thing about that is we're going to give you the ability to play anywhere,
Right, that's awesome.
which is a departure from what we do with StarCraft 2.